There we go.
That's a good idea.
It's called Après.
Après is the name of the Après is the name of the brewery, or I guess company, and they make all different kinds of hard seltzers and hard tequilas and hard vodkas seltzers.
Hard tequilas?
Help. I've only had one sip. They make all kinds of hard
soft tequila. Sorry.
They make all kinds of hard seltzers, both featuring tequila and vodka, is what I was trying to say.
Nice.
So yeah, I'm having the Sonora one, which is passion fruit, lime, sea salt, tequila. It's very good.
That sounds so good.
What are you having?
I'm having a Voodoo Ranger Juicy Haze. I'm having a Voodoo Ranger Juicy Haze IPA.
Ooh, and is it juicy? Is it in fact juicy?
It's pretty juicy. I'm just basking in my ability to actually get IPAs in the US.
You love an IPA, and can I ask you a question? So, what is the difference between a regular IPA and a West Coast IPA?
Okay, I get this. I actually get this mixed up quite a bit. Yeah, you know what? I want to look it up because one tends to be hazy, and then one tends to be like more filtered, and like when you pour it, it's clear. Let me actually look this up though, because I always get it wrong which one is which.
Because I've been looking at beers lately. I've been finding some breweries too in the local area that they use like rice instead of barley, and I've just been like tasting some different beers lately. I've noticed that some of them say West Coast IPA, and I'm like, but I don't actually know what that means. I never looked into it. Because I know I don't like a regular IPA. They're a little too much for me, but I'm like, would I like a West Coast one? And like, what's the difference, you know?
Okay, West Coast, this is from Sierra Nevada, California
love,
brewery.
Love.
I trust them with my life.
Oh, yeah.
So West Coast IPA beer leans into hop bitterness.
Hot.
And they strive for clean. So this is the clearer pour.
Okay.
And then let's see about was an East Coast. More broadly known as hazy or New England IPA. Okay, so East Coast are the hazy ones.
Okay.
Yeah.
That makes sense. Okay. And right now you're drinking what kind of IPA again?
I'm drinking a hazy.
A hazy, okay.
I'm drinking a juicy haze.
Sounds nice, dude.
Yeah. When I was Googling that, I forgot to add the IPA to the end of the search query. So I just Googled West Coast versus East Coast and wound up on the Wikipedia page for East Coast versus West Coast hip hop rivalry.
Oh my God. That's a great page to land on. That could be what the podcast's about today. You thought you were getting an indie game review? Think again.
We're getting into hi-fi versus I don't know that much about hip hop. Anyway, how are you doing, Kate?
I'm good. I've had a beautiful day. Had a great muffin. Had some empanadas. Nothing to complain about over here.
Hell yeah. Oh my gosh.
And I always think of you when I have the empanadas because I know how much you love them.
As you should. They're my favorite. If
Kira Cafe. Oh.
Do we want to say it? Do you care?
Yeah, we can say it. It's fine. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. You can only find me there like a couple times a year. Yeah, if they ever went public, I would buy shares immediately. Immediately.
If they're listening, sponsor us. You should sponsor us. They're not listening, but like if they were, you know.
I don't think they're yeah. I don't know if hyper local independently owned restaurants are where it's at in terms of the podcasting advertisement industry, but if they want to, I'll take we can work something out. If they want to sponsor us and just send me empanadas.
We ate so many of them every time I see you actually when we're here in the city together, so it's like today I honestly didn't get enough of them, and I'm like, why do I not have enough of them? And I'm like, it's because Emily's not here reminding me that I need to get copious amounts to eat them for several meals throughout the day or throughout the week.
You got to get more to go.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But I did think of you when I was having them. So, yeah, nothing to complain about over here. Having a pretty good day. It's summer. I feel like it's solidly summer now, and I'm enjoying the summer. What about you? How's it going over there?
Yeah, things changed. Things changed drastically since the Little Gator Game episode, where I was like, it's so cold and cloudy. Not anymore.
Not anymore.
Mid-90s. Very hot. Very
sunny. It's hot. Hot and sunny.
Don't forget to put on sunscreen, everyone.
Yeah.
I don't care if you don't burn. You're not somebody who burns. I don't care. The UV rays will find you.
They will find you.
Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like it's always good to put on sunscreen. I myself need that reminder because usually the sun is not out here. So it's good to be reminded. Got to put on the sunscreen every once in a while over here in New England. So yeah, it's heating up outside, but we're staying cool over here at No Small Games.
That we are. We always do.
We always do.
That's what they say about us.
Do you feel like it's time to get into boss battles? I wish I had one off the top of my head.
Yeah, we can.
Yeah,
or we can keep vamping until you think of one.
Stumble our way into it. Okay, yeah. I got one. You know what? I got one off the cuff. Do I want to share this? You know what?
I can just go first.
Yeah, you go
first.
How
about I just go first?
Great.
Mine is that honestly, so I'm in the Midwest right now, and the Midwest, I also don't have a car at the moment because I sold my car when I went to Spain, and you know, you talk about people talk about how the U.S. just generally most places isn't great with public transit and isn't necessarily super built for pedestrians and alternative methods of what's that word? Transportation. Yeah. I was my brain was communication, and that's not it. Alternative methods of transportation besides driving. And so I've been very aware of that the whole time I've lived here. But I didn't realize that it could get even worse than in California. I thought, it's not just not convenient to not have a car here. It's, actively hostile to pedestrians, it feels like. There's just, not, for one, just not enough crosswalks. I live on not a very busy street, but a street where cars go fast. And there just are not a lot of crosswalks. So if I want to get to, and there are some things kind of near me theoretically that I could walk to, but if I want to actually get there, I have to cross relatively unsafely across a road where cars go pretty fast. So it's just it's just a pain in the ass, and we need more crosswalks. We need more infrastructure for pedestrians.
It's dangerous. You are I don't want to say risking your life, but you are you're taking a chance. You're doing something that's not really comfortable, and that is can be dangerous, I think, sometimes.
Or you're going way out of your way, which is what I wind up doing because I, don't want to take my chances. So I don't trust drivers. And I love driving. I don't want to trust drivers.
Same.
So I wind up just walking a bunch of extra time, wasting time.
Totally.
Yeah. So yeah. That's my gripe. That's my little boss battle.
Yeah, that's a rough one. I feel like I wish overall there was just better infrastructure in the United States for both pedestrians, but also for public transportation. We need some high-speed rail. We need some free public transit. We need to repair our roads. And sorry, I'm not trying to go all Bernie Sanders on our ass right now. This is a podcast about video games, but yeah. He's always saying, we got to rebuild our crumbling infrastructure, and I agree with him. It's time to do that. But anyway, I'll be thinking about you out there on your walks in the sun, hoping for the best. For me, I guess, this is the first summer that I'm living on my own, which has been, it's a very different season for me to, I have more time because school is not in session, still working, but not working as much. So I've just been enjoying, kind of struggling sometimes, but mostly just enjoying the alone time, I've been going to this little pond, redacted pond, to take a little dip in the pond, and I bring my book and just hang out by myself, and that's been fun. The other day I walked to my favorite bagel store, and I got a bagel and coffee, and then I walked to the water, and I enjoyed breakfast by myself. So like, yeah, I'm just like moving through this new season of I guess my life, but also of being alone in the summer and like in a new place and walking around, like seeing how that feels. So I think overall it's been pretty positive, and it's nice to just like, you know, I feel really lucky because I am in sort of a downtown neighborhood where I can pretty safely walk to like go get breakfast or something. But yeah, I've just kind of been exploring my environment more than usual now that it's nice out. So that's been really, really cool to find some hidden gems in a place that I think could be more appreciated by myself. So,
oh, by you,
by me specifically, yes.
I love that. That's so fun. Aw,
yeah, it's been cool. And most of the people that are nearby that I like to hang out with live like an hour away from me. So it's been interesting, but also cool to like try to spend that time that I am by myself, like discovering new things in my city on my own. So it's been cool, but always grateful for the days where I get to have an empanada and then come back here and record a podcast with you at 7:30 p.m. because it's summer and we're cool like that.
Hell yeah. Aw. It's funny because like a lot of my adult life was spent in the Bay Area, where like that just was, all of my friends were minimum 40 minutes drive away.
Yeah, it's
from
just
me.
that's how it is.
It's just that's how it was. So one day I aspire to live someplace where my friends are 20 minutes or less, maybe away. I don't know if that's
the
dreaming
dream.
Too low, too high, where I should, I don't know.
I think like out west people are just used to driving more to get places. Like also I feel like that's kind of how it is in Utah too. And honestly Maine too, it's like you got to drive to get anywhere. It's hard telling not knowing. You got to hurry up and wait. That's what we say around here. So yeah, I feel like it is, but I do miss like sometimes living like in that, like just right downtown, and you can just like go anywhere you want really quickly without your car.
Yeah. I miss college a lot for that. Like college was just peak. Like you live down the hall from all your friends.
Oh my God. I would love to live by you on the
have
a
bunch of quote unquote restaurants that you can just go to that you live next to, and like so
that's
good.
The life. Yeah. So imagine if we lived down the hall from each other and could go to restaurants whenever we wanted.
God, it was so nice. And by restaurants I mean like the dorm, the
dining halls.
But like my college had pretty good food at the dining halls, and we would like us. I don't know. I actually don't. I don't know if we were sneaking into classrooms. I don't think we technically were sneaking into classrooms. I think we had badge access to all the classrooms at night, but we would like go take over like a lecture hall at night and put on a movie on the projector together, like just four of us, and it would be like
a beautiful time that exists at a specific time and place. For some people at a certain age. That's very cool.
Yeah, it's great. I feel nostalgic for that.
Love that.
Well, we're going to talk a lot about maybe some nostalgia today.
Yeah.
As we talk about our game. I'm interested to see where this conversation is going to go, because the game touches on a lot of like kind of what you said, like a specific time and place for specific people, and like the feelings surrounding those. So, but first.
Yes, I knew exactly where you're going, and I love it. I'm here for the ride.
Okay, but first, we have an important matter to discuss, and that is the deep gratitude that we feel to our Patreon supporters. We do. It's true.
We feel we're over. Our cups runneth over, as I like to say.
It's funny. I saw sorry, this is a tangent. Not to start a new segment and then go directly into a tangent, but I saw a video on TikTok from Josh Johnson, the stand-up comic.
I don't think I know him.
He's on The Daily Show, and stand-up
cool.
comic. He has a HBO special now, and he had a little video posted being like, "Hey guys, I just wanted to say thank you, and like I know it can sound kind of corny when you like say thank you so often for the same stuff, and I was like, it does. Yeah, this is what I experience every time I go I do this Patreon bit. But we're genuinely so grateful to all of our Patreon supporters. Y'all are amazing. If you are interested in supporting the show in some way, go check out patreon.com/nosmallgames. We have 4 tiers that start as low as $2 a month. And we have lots of fun stuff that you can partake in, including polls for which Patreon choice game we'll talk about each season. We have early access to our indie game roundups each month. We have more things that actually I need to talk to you about, Kate. I had an idea. Anyway, we've got more stuff. We've got more stuff coming down the line. And it really helps a ton to support the show and all the stuff that we do, all the coverage that we make here on the podcast and at nosmallgames.com. So thank you guys. Y'all are amazing. We love you so much.
Thank you so much.
And if that is not something that is kind of within the realm of possibility for you right now, we totally understand it, and that is so totally okay. There are lots of free ways that you can support the show, one of which is super, super easy. Wherever, hold on, sorry, Claudia. I got too excited. Wherever you are listening to No Small Games right now, if you could take just a couple of seconds to go and follow or subscribe, whatever the language is around that, to get notified of new episodes, and then leave us a little rating or review. It goes a huge way to feed the ever-growing, ever-present, glorious algorithm. We love the algorithm. It tells people that you like No Small Games and that they might like it too. And we want to let everyone know.
Yeah, and we're getting close to more reviews, I think. So review us.
We're very close. I know people have strong feelings about Spotify, and I totally get it. But if you are listening on Spotify and you haven't rated or reviewed the show yet, we're getting really close to 100.
Please
and
help.
I feel like in my head, to the algorithm, that's probably like kind of a magic number.
It probably
if we
means
could get
something.
to 100, it probably means something.
Yeah.
The algorithm is very superstitious about numbers like this.
And I spoke to the algorithm a few days ago, and they did actually confirm that once we get to 100, something will be happening. And they didn't tell me what, but they did say something would happen.
Something would happen. It was a little wink, nudge, nudge from the algorithm. So we appreciate you. Thank you for doing that. And thank you for putting up with this.
Yes, we're so sorry. We're 17 minutes in, but we are going to talk about video games.
We might.
You're not all here for the video games, though, right? You're also here for whatever this is. Whatever the fuck this is. Hopefully. Well, we put timestamps in, so if you're not, then you know what to do. Anyway. Shall we talk about the game at hand? Yes, the game at hand. Today on No Small Games, we're talking about Fishbowl. Fishbowl is a slow and tender narrative game about dreams, grief, and hope. Rediscover your memories and find your way into the present in this intimate experience where slice of life meets surreal. Fishbowl released on April 2nd, 2026. It was developed by imissmyfriends.studio and published by imissmyfriends.studio and Wholesome Games. It's available on Steam and PlayStation for $9.99 USD. I tried to figure out if it was on Switch, but I couldn't. In my research, nothing came up. So I think it's only on those 2 platforms. I think it's PS5 and Steam. And that's what we're talking about today. But yeah, Fishbowl. That's what we're talking about today. And we're talking about Fishbowl. And we have talked about the demo in the past. We have a preview of the Fishbowl, of one of the Fishbowl demos up on the No Small Games site. So we're excited that we finally got to dig in and play the whole game. Yeah, and we should also say thank you to Wholesome Games for providing the keys. Yes. We did receive those months ago and kind of put them on the shelf. We're like, we're going to cover this on the pod. So we got to dust those off. Yeah, we got to pull them right off the shelf like you just did. I like that. Just whoop. Whoop. You know what I feel like I'm doing now that we have video? I feel like I'm doing what movies and movie theaters did back in like the 80s when 3D glasses became a thing. You're being teacher. You're like, I'm like, you're showing and telling. You're showing. Yeah, exactly. I love it. It's like I'm right here in the room with you. I feel it. I feel you in the room with me. I feel God in this Chili's tonight.
do we want to talk about histories with the game besides the demo?
I think for me, it's just the demo. Like, I don't even remember when this game first came on my radar, because it was quite a long time ago, it feels like. But I know I played the demo on my stream, which was really fun, and I enjoyed that, and so did my chat. And I know you streamed the demo too, so like, I feel like it's been so long that I don't remember when. But it's just a game that I've been highly anticipating for a long time, so...
Yeah. I think for me, one of the things that I connected with immediately, and I think this is probably true of a lot of people who've been following Fishbowl for a while, is just the devs. It's a 2-person dev team, and they are just so sweet and genuine. And I think they did a great job of showcasing themselves and who they are as part of this project. And I think it drew a lot of people into the game too. Yeah. And I think it shows through in the narrative as well. Like, I can't imagine that there's not like a lot of actual, like, their personal experiences, you know.
It does feel very personal while playing. Yeah.
So I'm excited to talk about it.
Me too.
Shall I set the scene?
Yes, as you always do.
So the game opens with our main character, Alo. Oh, I should also just set the scene visually, because I feel like the visuals are very important to this game. Yeah. It's all kind of pixel art. It's very like calm pastel tones, but like a relatively lo-fi pixel art style. So we open with Alo in the back of a like taxi, and she is going home from her first day at this new job that she just started. She's presumably like early 20s, just recently graduated from college, and she's starting kind of her first real, you know, adult job ever. And she gets a call from her mom to check in on how the first day went, and she's in a brand new city that she just moved to, and so everything is new, and she's feeling a little uncertain about how the day went. And she has a little chat with her mom. And then during this conversation, there's an interesting, it's during this phone conversation that there's like an interesting little mention of like, oh, have you heard about like the things going on? Or like there's shutting something down. Happening. Yeah. And that was very interesting to me the first time that I played the demo. It's like, oh, okay, this sounds kind of familiar. I wonder if this is going where I think it's going to go. And so she gets home, and on her, you play most of the game inside of her apartment. And so on the second day, you get like a call from one of her coworkers who tells her that starting on the following day, everything is going to be remote. All work is going to be remote. And the game never says the word COVID-19, but it's heavily implied that the game takes place in like March of 2020, and at the very beginning of the COVID-19 pandemic. And she's in lockdown. Everybody in the game is in lockdown, and so all of your conversations with other characters happen via basically FaceTime or Zoom. And so the game is kind of about her experience of living through lockdown and processing a lot of memories and emotions that are coming up as a result as well of her grandmother's passing, which I think is established happened about a month before the game starts. In like 3 or 4 weeks since her grandmother passed, and then she starts this new job. So that's where we open things up. Anything I missed? Anything else that's important to establish before we get into like gameplay?
I don't think so. No, that's beautiful. And as far as I remember, that's kind of how things kick off. And then, you know, it's funny because you can get so, for me anyway, I could get so immersed and like into the gameplay loop, I guess, or into like a day of living as Alo, that sometimes I would forget that it was the pandemic, but then something would remind me. Like, you know, like someone would come with masks on to the front door, or like someone would mention something in a video call. So I think like they do a good job at like reminding you of the time and place throughout the game.
Yeah, I agree. I also had this experience of sort of forgetting at times that it was about the pandemic. And I think it's going to be interesting because I feel like the gameplay is very, very closely tied into the narrative too. So I'm sure we'll kind of bounce back and forth a little bit in the discussion. Yeah. But it was interesting because I think Alo's experience of this time was very different in some ways similar, and in some ways very different from mine. So I guess gameplay wise, you mentioned the core gameplay loop. Do you want to kind of describe that a little bit?
Yeah. So like as Emily was saying, you play as Alo, and each day she wakes up and there are a number of things that you could do. Just like, how a lot of us went through in real life during this time. So you can do, and certain tasks that you do will make you feel better and sort of give you a boost. Certain tasks that you do can kind of like bring your mood down. And the game does a really great job at visually showing you like what tasks are good tasks and which tasks kind of make Alo feel worse. So for example, you like something that I would do every day when I woke up as Alo is I would make my coffee, I would eat toast, I would do my dishes, then I would kind of walk over into the middle room and I would think about logging onto my computer to do some work, but instead I would go outside, I would water the flowers, feed the birds. So those are some examples of like positive tasks you could do. There's also laundry you could do. But then, in the living room there, you can get on your phone and sort of doom scroll the day away, as they say, which will kind of make Alo feel worse. Or you can binge watch TV on the laptop, which again makes Alo feel worse. There's just, and as you play the game more and more, you can unlock more and more activities to do that will give you, I think, mostly positive, like feedback or like boost your mood a little bit. So you choose what you want to do every day, but there are some things that you have to do every day. So, or as far as I understand that you have to do every day. So, you work from home, so you'll be doing like, some video work, which is like kind of condensed into this very specific mini game. So you have to work as well because you're working from home. But yeah, you just kind of spend the day doing whatever you want as Alo, and that will lead you to different choices that you can make down the road based on how you take care of Alo. And yeah, it's really interesting because every day could kind of look different if you wanted it to. But that's like the main thing. You have just an abundance of tasks to choose from. And it's almost like at the end of each day gives you a list of what you did and kind of like a bullet journal style format. So you can see at the end of each day, like, these are the things that I did. So that's kind of how the gameplay loop works, I guess.
Yeah. And you can see, I like how visually Alo's like, some combination of like mental and physical health is like represented as this bar at the top of your screen, and it's kind of like she's this little plant that you're watering. I started to kind of feel like she was my like Tamagotchi a little bit. Like she's my virtual pet, and I'm like doing all this stuff for her to make her feel good. And so you start off with her at kind of the lowest rung of this bar, and as you fill up the bar, you get up to like different kind of levels of well-being, I guess. So, and like you said, I think one of the things that really made the this kind of process and the loop kind of compelling is the fact that the better you take care of her, or like the more you care for her, she can show up differently to conversations and has different dialogue options.
Yeah.
So I liked that. I liked that representation of just the outcome of taking care of yourself.
True, because like spoilers, or I guess right off the bat, I'll just admit that I took very good care of her. So there were lots of moments where I couldn't even choose the bad quote unquote dialogue option if I wanted to, because her mental and physical health was doing well enough that wasn't even a part of the option. That wasn't even an option in the storyline that I was choosing for her. So based on the way that I took care of her. So I like that a lot too. I think that worked really well.
Yeah. Yeah. And it was interesting too, like observing which dialogue options were associated with the better mental and physical health state versus worse, because some of them were actually quite sad or hard, I mean, hard things to say, but like also really sad and vulnerable. But she was able to show up with more of that vulnerability to those conversations. And I thought that was cool. I thought it was a very thoughtful way to look at like, what are you more able to access about yourself and bring up when you're in a better head space. So I loved that.
I like that. I like that you noticed that.
So that was very cool. I think, and I was in the same boat as you. I took very good care of her. I was like,
she has to do as much as she possibly can.
Yeah. I was like, I want this little girl to be okay. She's clearly going through a lot. So I was like, I want her to be as happy and healthy as possible. To the degree that like, I didn't see why I would ever choose to do the things that made her feel worse. Except that there are sometimes things that just make you feel worse generally, because like some conversations are just sad and they made her feel sad. And so one of the pieces of her backstory is that she grew up always wanting to be a writer and a poet, and she's having a really hard time writing because of the things she's going through internally, emotionally. And that was the one thing that I would do regularly that made her feel worse, was I would kind of keep trying to see like, if I have her write today, will it go better? So I did that over and over again. But otherwise, I didn't really see why you would ever choose. Why would you have her doom scroll, or why would you have her binge watch the TV?
It's a good question, and it's interesting because like, if you don't do those tasks for long enough, like, you won't be able to go back and do them, in my experience anyway. Like, once she was feeling so good enough, you actually like can't do those tasks.
Oh, how interesting. I didn't even know. I did. That's how much I like, as soon as I realized, I tried every activity in that apartment that's available. I tried it once, and if it made her feel worse, I never did it again. So
I was really curious, so I went back to see if like, let's see if we can doom scroll or binge watch, and it doesn't even let you, like, if she's doing well enough. So that was surprising to me.
So here's where I'm like, I think it was a really interesting gameplay system to represent like caring for somebody and caring for yourself, but it did not really represent my experience of the pandemic. Like, I cared for her way better in those ways than I cared for myself during the pandemic. But I felt like, I'm curious to hear what your experience was. During the pandemic, I definitely felt a need and urge to have the TV news on, or to be looking at my phone pretty regularly, because I wanted to know what was going on. I wanted updates on things, and I wanted to stay informed. And it was definitely, I eventually had to stop doing that so much, because it was definitely impacting me negatively. But at the same time, it felt like I was getting something out of it at times. So did you do a whole lot of that during like the early days, like March 2020?
Yeah, I think I was honestly like, I was in such a strange boat, because I had gone from like living in an apartment in a big city with my partner at the time to like moving to the middle of nowhere. Well, we didn't even know we were moving when we moved, but we were just like, we'll just go wait this out at your parents' house, basically. And then as time went on, it's like, we're never going back. Like, we're never going back to the city except for to get our stuff and put it in a storage unit. And so, like, for me, it was interesting because I went from living in a house of 2 people to a house of 5 people. And we were all together, like, as a family, like, quarantining together. And so everyone else in the house had a job, like a work from home job, except for me. I had lost both of my jobs like immediately. So I think I spent the first like month just trying to figure out unemployment and like doing all those forms. Then I took it upon myself, because I felt extremely uncomfortable not having a job. I was like, I'm going to cook breakfast, lunch, and dinner for everybody every day and clean, and then that will be my job. So like, that's kind of what I focused on, was just like, I will be the cook and I will clean and I will try to figure out how I'm going to get unemployment. And I took that very seriously for like the first like 3 months. And I also like did all of the grocery ordering. And like at the time, sounds crazy to say now, but we were sanitizing the groceries outside before we brought them in.
I wanted to talk about this. Yeah.
Like we were literally, like I took that upon myself to wipe everything down. I had one laundry basket that was the contaminated groceries and one laundry basket that was for clean groceries, and I would wipe every single one down, put it in the clean basket, and bring it in the house. And so I was actually working my little ass off trying to provide for this family. I mean, they did not ask me to do it. I wanted to do it, but like I really just like needed something to do. This was again before I even was really into video games, before I started playing Animal Crossing. Like it was something I took really seriously because I just like didn't know what else to do and I didn't know what was going to happen next. So that was it was an interesting like first 3 months of the pandemic for sure.
It really was. And this is where I feel like some of the gameplay for me didn't really reflect what it was actually like during those first few months, because like Aloy, the entire time the game takes place over 1 month, presumably the first month of the pandemic. And like she has groceries. There's never a moment where she's like, oh, gotta get groceries somehow. But like that is one of my most vivid memories of that first month, was how traumatizing getting groceries was. Like you'd go to the grocery store masked, but still terrified because we didn't know we were masking.
Thought it was everywhere.
Yeah, we didn't know how it was spreading. So you'd go masked, and there was like a limit to the number of people that could be in the store. So a lot of times you'd wait outside in a line waiting to be allowed in. I'd be terrified the whole time I was inside because like I don't know how close to get to people. I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know if I'm going to get this thing. You get all your groceries and then you get home and then you sanitize everything, which takes so much longer than you think. So you do all this. You're like shaking because you're just terrified because you have no idea what is going on. And then you get your groceries back. You finally lie down, and then you have to wake up in the morning and work again as if everything's normal and fine. And it was so exhausting and scary. And that just isn't present in this game for me. And that was something that I felt like I was kind of missing from the experience, was how traumatizing and upsetting that first couple of months was, where we didn't know anything and everything felt scary. And it's weird. I had the exact same experience that Alo had. I started a new job one day before lockdown.
That's crazy.
I went in on Monday, had my first day in the office. We were not masking yet, but we were not shaking hands. I remember I couldn't shake anybody's hand as I was meeting them in the office. And then Tuesday, they were like, don't come in. We're working remotely.
Whoa.
And then by like Thursday, it was like, you know what? Actually, we're not coming in for the foreseeable future. And so that was my introduction to this job too. And it was really bizarre.
It was such a, like we were saying earlier, a specific time. And like, so was your job that you took the day before the pandemic, or that you started the day before the pandemic, was it a full-time work from home job?
Mm-hmm.
That's wild.
Yeah. So I was debating whether I should say this, because I don't really talk about where I've worked before, but people can find, if you look on LinkedIn, you know where I've worked. So actually, I started working at WikiHow, the online how-to wiki-based website, that week. And it's funny because one of the characters in Fishbowl is translating stuff for a wiki type website. And I was like, oh yeah. I was working as their software product manager. So yeah, it was really wild. And it was one of those things where people wound up working, probably way more than they normally would have, because we were all working from home.
Interesting.
It was a tech job. So it was, I think I was lucky in some ways. It kind of, in some ways, the Alo is too, where the team was very agile and very good at transitioning to being remote. And the leadership was, especially for the first 6 months or so of the pandemic, the leadership was extremely aware of the fact that this was a really upsetting time and really hard for people. So while we were working really hard and working a lot of hours, they also made sure that we got free, days off sometimes or afternoons off, and just kind of tried to be gentle about the whole thing.
Wow. That's really interesting, because I feel like so many workplaces responded so differently to the pandemic, because I was working in the theater industry, but also at a restaurant, and basically the theater I was working for, we had just opened our play literally a few days before the pandemic. No. Yeah, and it was so sad, because it was a play where we bought a storage unit at auction and then used all the stuff inside to make a play, and it was very special and people really liked it. And we did 2 shows. We were supposed to run for 2 weeks, and so we did our first 2 shows, and then we shut down the next day because we were taking our cues from basically the closest professional theater company in the city. So once they decided to close their doors, we decided, but my restaurant job was still open, which was terrifying because it was it's a tiny little restaurant, and people just come in and out all day. Menus, I was wiping down the menus and the door handles all the time because I was taking it seriously and I was really scared. But other people, the bosses and other people on my team at the restaurant, were just it's not a big deal. We don't need to wipe down all the menus. And then it took them, I think, a full week after the theater shut down to shut down. So I don't know. It was a really interesting time. And then after that, it was we were in our apartment for a week, and then we left. So it's just it was just wild to see how drastically some people responded in a positive way, and then how drastically people responded in a negative way too. It was such a wild time. And at this point, this is 6 years ago, which is also wild to think about.
It's crazy because everything that, just talking about this, I can picture all of this so vividly. Yeah. All of this will be burned in my mind forever, for all of time.
Because it was it was so terrifying.
It was
I'm never going to see, what if I never see my friends or family again in person? It was such a strange time. And and honestly, I did not have this critique of the game or even think about it. But now that you're talking about it, I'm oh yeah, I didn't really feel the stress of the pandemic. I more so felt the stress of Alo's grief and her nightmares and her recalling memories. But there was just every once in a while something that would remind me. Her coworker would hop on the Zoom call and have a mask on, or there wasn't a lot of anxiety for me playing surrounding the pandemic.
Yeah, all the anxiety would come from other people. Her mom is running a tea shop, and that's having to close down, and felt so bad for her coworker who's a college intern and has roommates who aren't social distancing. I was oh my God, I remember that. That was a thing. That was a thing. Your friends not abiding by protocol and stuff. That was just, that kind of stuff was so upsetting.
When that got rolled out, and it was oh, you didn't test, but you were sick. There were just so many things socially that we were navigating, and also from a health standpoint, it was a really wild time, and I guess still kind of is.
Yeah. That feeling. And again, all this stuff, it wasn't imbued in Alo's experience specifically. But I just remember all the way through into August and September and October of 2020, one of the things that was hardest for me to grapple with was this idea that life is never going to be exactly the same again. And we don't know how. We know it's going to change forever, but we don't know in what ways. And that certainty that things would change, but the uncertainty of how was really hard to grapple with. And I guess in some ways she's going through that, but as it relates to her grandmother and her family. But
and it was Yeah, it's so, and then I think like, 6 months past the start of the pandemic, or I guess a little bit more than that, like then you and I started streaming. And so it's just like the things that this event, the way that this event changed all of our lives in like very specific ways, I think is just like really interesting. And I think for Alo, it's like, I guess like for her in this moment in time, it's more about the grief and like what she's going through. But yeah, I think like I think I would have maybe liked to see a little bit more of the presence of a pandemic in the game,
Yeah. Yeah. And just for me, like, part of it was like doom scrolling and just watching the news was definitely something that was detrimental to me, but I also felt the need to be informed. I wanted to know what's going on. I wanted to know, how is this virus being spread? I wanted to know what are the lockdown protocols and how are those changing and what's going to happen. So I was getting something out of doing this thing that was also hurting me. But that's not really reflected here. Like, once you realize, like, oh, it's bad for her, there's not a reason to go to her phone ever again or to, like, binge watch a show ever again. So I think something that came to mind as I was playing is I think that this gameplay loop could have benefited from something similar to Consume Me, where you're maybe sort of balancing different needs that Alo has, and that like maybe sometimes something that hurts one aspect of her needs would help another. And so you have to make trade-offs. Because that's something I really appreciated about Consume Me, was having to make this decision around like, I don't have a lot of energy and I don't have time to sleep, so I'm going to drink an energy drink even though it's bad for my physical health. But
I get my studying done or whatever.
But I get my studying done. I get a little bit more energy. I can do that. So those choices. Because that was another thing, was that like there were some moments during the pandemic where I was like, somehow I should have more time than ever, but I feel like I have less time to get anything done.
Yeah.
And with Fishbowl, you have unlimited time basically to do anything you want. Some of the activities are only available to you like in the morning or at nighttime or whatever, but like you could do all of them. You can, and I did everything I could basically that was going to be beneficial to Alo every day.
Yeah, me too.
And to me, that doesn't feel representative of my pandemic experience.
I was like I say, I was making 3 meals a day, which is pretty much true, but also like there were lots of moments of when I could have been doing something else where I was just like, I guess I'll just have some wine, or I guess I'll just watch TV, or I will doom scroll. Like, what am I going to do? I don't know what's going to happen next. And the information that's out there is so new, and I don't know how accurate it is, and it seems to be changing every day. And like, I don't want to wipe down the groceries individually every day, so I will keep an eye on the news, because the second I can stop doing that, I would absolutely love to.
Totally.
It's just crazy. And then like, I remember talking to my family in Utah because I was in Maine, and I was just like so worried, and I'm like, when will I see them next? Like, will I ever see them again? And I just think that there's a lot of, it's funny because like, I guess the folks who Alo interacts with in her phone or on Zoom or on like her coworkers, like a lot of them, like, even though they will bring it up in their own ways, like, I don't remember if there were any of them that were seriously impacted by anything happening during the pandemic, except for the one coworker who was expressing stress about how her roommates were like unmasking and going to parties and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. And like nobody got it.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh, wait, didn't someone get long COVID? Maybe I'm misunderstanding something that happened in the story.
Oh, are you thinking about her boss, Satara?
Yeah.
Satara winds up with burnout, which that was very
she has burnout.
Relatable to me, because I was like, oh, puppy. Yeah, I that was my 2021. But yeah, no, I don't think anybody in the game actually gets COVID.
Interesting.
So, and I'm trying to remember, I don't know if I I don't know if I knew anybody directly who got it in that first year.
Yeah,
so,
I don't think I did either, honestly.
Yeah, but I don't know. Just, it was such a scary time.
Yeah.
Going back to some of the gameplay elements here, one of the things that I really appreciated about all these activities, generally, like, all the activities were kind of fun to do.
So fun.
Because they're, like, each one has its own mini game, and often they would change from one day to the next, like, exactly how the mini game would work. But they all involved some input of, like, either D-pad directions or holding down A or, like, tapping. And I loved that. So it would show you kind of the step and all the steps in the process. So if she was cooking, it would show you all the little steps in how she was cooking, and the inputs all kind of related to what physically the motions would be, which I thought was really clever.
Very clever. I agree. That really worked well for me, and I like how, yeah, like it just makes sense mechanically the way that you execute the mini games of the tasks on your keyboard or Steam Deck for me versus like you're saying, like how they might correlate in real life. So I got like really into some of them, like just like mechanically, like physically, I was excited to just revisit these parts of my routine every day.
Yeah. Ooh, what were your favorite routine items to do?
I loved the birdhouse one where you get to feed the bird. I honestly love doing the dishes, true in real life too. I'm a real sicko for doing some dishes. Don't know why it's my favorite chore. And that's a long one. That's like a really, like probably the longest mini game. So I really liked that. It wasn't actually a mini game, but like eventually you can unlock her being able to like read in a cozy little nook. I loved doing that. That was very sweet. And I also loved the sweeping, even though it's also not a mini game. It's just like a little visual cut of her like cleaning the house. But I really liked those ones. What about you?
Those are cute. I liked making coffee. I liked that making coffee changes. Sometimes she makes different drinks for herself, and I'm like, oh, what's she having now?
Cute. Now she's having milk in her coffee.
I felt like I was playing with like a little Polly Pocket or something.
That's so funny, dude.
I liked the taking care of the plants. I would enjoy that.
You would.
I also really liked having her read in the little reading nook and having her take a little bath. That was really cute. So I loved a lot of them. And then you also mentioned there's the work mini game.
I fucking love the work mini game.
It's really fun.
It's so fun. It's like almost like a rhythm game because it like you could like because you like move a series of clips around because you're editing a video, I think. So like it'll almost like come at you sort of like in like a Guitar Hero way or something, or like how a rhythm game would. And then you're like, oh, I got to match up the image with the image section, and I got to match up the video with the video section, and you kind of like move all the little files around. And then when you hit the space bar, they like sync up and connect, and you like complete it, I guess. And that feels so good. And the little song is so good. And I'm like, oh, I'm really in the zone here.
Yeah. God, I loved it. It's so fun. It's cute too. It's so Olive's like a video editor for presumably like a very famous like YouTuber. And all of your editing happens with another person each time.
Yes.
I'm like, that's so interesting. I'm like, is that how video editors work? Like, I just don't know. I don't know enough about that scene to know if that's like something that really happens in video editing workflows. But eventually like you get notes, like editing notes from people that pop up too, and you have to like try to slide the clip over to like grab the note as you're matching up the clips and stuff. It was very fun. It was a good little mini game.
Yeah. I like that you called that out because I do like how the little coworkers will pop up and you'll get notes from them, and it's just fun. I think this is the best mini game in the whole game.
Yeah, I agree. I was like, again, a little different from my pandemic experience because I was like, oh baby, it's time to clock into work.
Yes. Yeah, it's and it's fun because you kind of get to know her coworkers throughout that process of editing the videos. Yeah. Like you're saying, you're co-editing, so it's fun.
Yeah, I thought it was a cute way to like introduce you to all these people and kind of get a sense of their lives and stuff.
Totally.
Then there's also the packing or unpacking mini game, because you one of the things that winds up happening that sort of guides you through this narrative of learning about Alo's grandmother and her relationship with her mom and her grandmother, is that you get sent all of your grandmother's possessions that have been all boxed up that your mom was going, or that Alo's mom was going to just give away. Mm-hmm. And so Alo's going through this process of unpacking stuff and remembering things. But the unpacking mini game is this little like sliding block style puzzle where you're trying to fit things around. You're trying to uncover like some key thing that's at the bottom of each box. How'd you feel about that mini game?
I liked it a lot. I'm not really a sliding block puzzle girly, but I did think it was simple enough that I enjoyed it. And I just think the items within the boxes are so detailed and cute, and I was like excited to discover them, and I was like excited to unpack the boxes. And it's very realistic because Ala's like, I can't do another one today, like I'm just gonna do that one today. And I'm like, real, very real. And it's cool because you get that visual representation of time passing as it does pass, because over, like, I remember looking in the kitchen one day and being like, oh, all the boxes are gone, like I've unpacked them all, and just like letting that visually like sit with me and like how that felt. So I thought that it was interesting how they had the boxes in each room, and then slowly as you unpack them, it like eventually makes a difference and they start to disappear, and then eventually the game is over. And so I thought that was a cool choice too.
Yeah, I thought so too. I like that. I like what you described, like that being the passage of time, because it was like the thing that gave me a sense of where we were at in the game.
True.
So a lot of cute little mini games.
Mm-hmm.
Anything else gameplay wise that comes to mind? You also go through these little memories that Alo has of different times with her friends and her mom and her grandmother, and those are these very like surreal moments where you're kind of walking through the memory and examining different things, and those were interesting. How did you feel about those? How did you
I don't think I connected this until you were talking about it, but I think and I could be wrong, but I think all of the memories are in that like pink setting where it's like pink pastel and like a little colorful, and I think all of her dreams are in black and white, but I could be wrong about that.
Yeah, black and white and kind of a maybe light blue
or something. Yeah. So I guess, I liked all of the memories because that was a time where it's like you are seeing something different, which is nice because you do see the inside of Ala's apartment a lot, which like it's a super cute apartment. And like, relatable. Like this is all I saw during the pandemic. I was inside of this very specific time and place, but it was cool to have the memories because you get more context to some of the characters that you already know, like Ala's mom and sister, but then you also get like, you just get to switch things up visually, and you get to see her as a little kid, and like, it's usually like a very sweet memory, and it's just like fun to experience those. I think it's a nice like, okay, I've been in my routine. I've been doing the mini games. I've been locked in on whatever my specific routine is for Ala, but now I get to take a minute and just like get some more story basically, or some like some memories. Yeah, I guess they're called memories.
Yeah. Yeah, the little vignettes.
Did you enjoy them?
I thought they were really interesting. I thought that they revealed her experience of growing up and also college in I think a very realistic way, in terms of remembering things from your childhood that are kind of a little foggy. You know, where it's like you only remember things from your perspective. So she's accessing some of these memories that she doesn't even fully really understand exactly what was happening in them, especially ones with her mom and her grandma. Like, you know, things she remembers, or like feelings she remembers about moments, but that she doesn't really completely understand what was going on because she didn't when she was a kid. So I thought that they were interesting little vignettes into her memory and her childhood.
Yeah, and in some of the little vignettes, there's that like darkness, and so that's like interesting too.
There's often a voice that comes up. Did you have any like guesses of who this voice was or what was going on?
No. Did you?
I assumed it was like her kind of dark side, her like shadow self, you know, the side of her that took everything that she didn't understand as a kid, that felt bad, and told herself that it was her fault, you know. So, which was relatable, you know. So it was interesting, but I was also like hoping that she'd kind of confront it more. She kind of let it persist the whole time until the end. So I don't know, it was interesting. But then do I confront that voice all the time? I don't know.
There's always video games to let you think about that.
Yeah. I guess before we get into the narrative, which we've already been talking a little bit about, any thoughts on the visuals, sound, or music that you want to touch on that we haven't talked about yet?
I just think like it's a gorgeous game. It looks great. I love the pixel art in it. I love like what you already said about the color palette when you were setting the scene. I really like all of that. I think that all of the characters are designed really beautifully, and I love the way that they look. Like when you get to see them zoomed in, like during a video chat, I think they're all very special and cute. And I think that Alo's character is very cute as well. And then every once in a while you'll get like a really close up on her face, like in a transition moment. And I thought that those were really beautiful too. And I think that the pixel art just like really, really shines in this game. Like I think they really nailed the visual style, because not only are all the characters cute, but like there's just like a lot of thoughtful little touches within the environmental design, I guess, of her apartment. And like you can go stargazing, and like there's a beautiful little sky. And so I just think the game looks great. Love the pixel art. And I think for sounds, I love all the sound effects. I love the little sound that the little fish makes. How do you say the fish's name?
I think it's Paplet.
Paplet is so, I love like all the little bubbles and the little flippies and the little like noises are so cute. So I really like the sound effects. I think and you can hear the rain, and it honestly sounds a lot to like Coffee Talk to me sometimes. Like
yes, the music
and the rain sound, to the point where I was like, oh no, I think I'm getting a little tired, because that kind of audio landscape tends to make me really sleepy with like the very chill lo-fi music and the rain sound effects. Like that's a combo to get me right to sleep. So it's a compliment, but I did like it all, but it does kind of make me like feel a little dreamy and tired. So, but yeah, I think that the visuals and the music are great. And then the mini games have some great sound effects baked in there too, to kind of like really hit home like what you're actually doing. Like a little beep of the laundry machine, or like a little sound of putting dishes away. I think that stuff is really good.
Yeah, I loved all the little sound effects that went along with the activities. That made it feel kind of more like grounded. And the lo-fi was great. It was a very chill game. Good, super chill. Good shit with the lo-fi.
Yeah.
Shoot, there was something. Oh yeah, we didn't really talk about Paplet at all. I guess we talk about Paplet in narrative, but that's something that happens is you get this fish toy in a little plastic fishbowl that you had as a kid, and it starts talking to you.
Yeah, it's your friend during a hard time.
Yeah. I guess I don't have much more to add to visual, sound, and music. So let's talk about narrative. We can just start with Paplet.
Yeah.
Paplet is an interesting character who I feel like I didn't always love. I don't know. I didn't always love Paplet's influence.
What do you mean by that?
Is a little toxically positive at times.
Oh yeah, definitely. Mm-hmm.
And I was like,
afraid of conflict to the point of like, nope, let's just do a happy memory. And
yeah,
it's like
happy, and it's like, you know what, Paplet? Not every moment can be happy.
Yeah, we got to appreciate.
You got to sit in your feelings.
Yeah, you got to sit through the bad to appreciate the good, or some shit like that.
Yeah. So it was interesting, but it makes sense. It makes sense later. It all came full circle. And I do appreciate Paplet, but there were times where I was like, Paplet, I need you to cut the bullshit right now.
Paplet, things are not good and you can't ignore it any longer.
You're not helping.
I think for me, Paplet was more like, oh, I have a friend or like I have a pet. Because like as someone who lives alone right now, if I did not have my cat to talk to, I feel like I would be struggling. And I know that Paplet is a toy and not an animal, but is, I don't know. I was like, I like that I like being able to talk to this entity every day, basically.
Yeah, it gave some, I don't know, some context, just another perspective to what was going on.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's see.
Valid critique, though. Toxically positive.
Toxically positive. By design, I think. I think that was intentional on the part of the devs. Not toxically exactly, but like positive to a fault.
Yeah.
I think.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Yeah. I guess I'm trying to think like what can we talk about narratively that we haven't already and that isn't really spoilery. We could talk a little bit about Alo's two best friends because they were really sweet. I think they were two of my favorite characters and felt very grounding in the whole experience. So you've got Zuari and then you've got Kia, they're a little trio. They're childhood best buds, and you get a lot of memories of the three of them at various like ages from. Like I think 6 years old up until college and present day, and they did everything together. And I like that they've got three very different personalities. It reminded me a little bit of like my friend group when I was in like elementary school. So like Zuari is now a teacher, and she was kind of always the responsible one of the group, but also very funny. And Kaya's sort of the chaotic, like rebel, very like creative, but also like kind of a mess all the time character.
Me, yeah.
And then Alo's like very, very chill, a little timid, a little shy, but also very caring for the group. So I appreciated them and their friendship, and like they go through kind of different hardships. I really appreciated that Zuari's story is represented in the game because she is a teacher, and this is one of like the biggest COVID related struggles that comes up is she's trying to figure out how do I make sure that my kids can keep learning because classes had switched to all remote, all digital. Parents didn't necessarily have the money for their kids to be able to be online during the day. Some parents had to go to work. And so she winds up like, she's really struggling with that aspect of the shift to lockdown, and winds up hosting a fundraiser. And that was just one of the sweetest and most like pandemic-y moments to me in the game.
That was probably my favorite part in the whole game, to be honest. Like it's so cool because like I'm assuming you did what I did, which was call everyone you know to invite them to the fundraiser.
Including Alo's boss, which I was like, ooh, a little nervous about this. But like I bet they seem cool. They seem chill. So like let's invite everybody.
It's really cool because the game gives you that option of like Zuari, that's her name, right? Zuari. Mm-hmm. She says she asks for Alo's help, and I picked the option that was like I'll call everyone I know, and then immediately go to my phone and call every single person that I can. And then they come to the fundraiser, and it's so cute, and like you get to see the view count, like how many people are viewing it, just like go up and up, and the donation bar just like meets their goal, and like it's just that was so good and important, I think. And you're right, that is a moment that feels very pandemic adjacent. So yeah, that part was very memorable to me, and I think I like that the game focused on that like friendship aspect because this was a time I feel like where some of my friendships got even stronger because it's like, oh, you know what? Like, we don't know when we're going to see each other next. Like, we got to help each other out. Like, some of us have a lot more free time than we're used to. Like, let's get a group chat going. So I like that they touched on that a little bit, because I do feel like there were specific friendships of mine. Like, even like thinking like to like how I started going on Twitch was because of some of my friends connecting during the pandemic. So it's just like, it is really sweet that they touched on that in the game, and that you then get the context of them being friends in like the memories and stuff.
Yeah, I really appreciated that. And like, I think that Alo goes through some cool transformations as a result of their friendships too. She realizes at one point that she really hasn't reached out since her grandmother passed, and has some moments of like, damn, I need to show up for my friends, you know? And I loved that. Like, I think that, I think that's really a really sweet aspect of her character growth. I think that Alo grows a lot as a person in this game. Oh, at least the way I played it. I don't know. Yeah, maybe there are paths where that doesn't happen. I'm curious. I'm curious how the story goes if you don't. I think it all hinges on how well you take care of her ultimately. So I'm curious what happens.
I think that's pretty clear, and I'm also really curious. I was hoping you and I would have played a little bit differently, but it sounds like you played the same way. But it's just like funny, because I feel like we don't always do that. Like, I feel like usually we have pretty different playthroughs. So, but anyway, there was one other moment I think that happened that really hit me, when it was like, I forget who it is that Alo calls, but when they answer the phone, they think that something's wrong. And
Zuari.
Oh, yeah. And she's like, I thought like the last time you called me first, like something was really wrong. Like, that was when her grandma was dying, I think. Maybe it was the last time she called Zuari. So when she calls, like, and then she automatically thinks something is wrong, but that's not why she's calling. And then Alo has that moment of like, oh, I should, like you were saying, like, should reach out more and reconnect. Like, that hit me really hard too, because it just kind of made me think like, oh, when was the last time I called so-and-so? And or like, are there people I call when there's only when there's something wrong? And that just like made me think, I guess.
Yeah. It's hard. God, it's hard. Because, like, I don't know. I think I definitely lost touch with some friends during the pandemic. And in some cases, it was like I was the person reaching out all the time and felt like I'm not getting that same energy back. So I'd rather put my energy into friendships where it's a little bit more reciprocal.
Sure.
You know, but then there's also like the reality that we all live in this really hyper-connected world, and we all know a ton of people, and it's really hard to keep in touch with everybody.
Yeah.
So I think it was a reminder that like to keep the friends close who matter to you, you know?
Yeah.
And who are there for you in return.
Totally. Yeah.
Yeah. She's got some other fun relationships too. Like, I really like Mrs. Noor, who lives above her, who's her landlady, and who's so sweet and really involved in translating like basically Wikipedia articles into Urdu. So that was cute. I liked that storyline, and she wound up being kind of a mentor figure sort of or like a caretaker figure to Alo. And I liked their dynamic. Yeah.
And she fixes the bathtub, and I was so excited for that because I love to take a bath.
Yes. Yeah, and the bathtub is there the whole time, and it's like, oh, it's broken. And I'm like, no. Who's going to fix this?
I'm glad it got fixed.
Yeah. Let's see. Is there anything you want to talk about before we I feel like our spoiler section should be about Mom and Grandma.
Yeah, that sounds good. Mm-hmm.
I feel like that's the main through line of the whole story, and potentially the one that, I don't know, has the most spoilers, I think.
Sure.
Because you don't know. Good. There's a lot that you don't know when you go into it. Okay, so we'll start spoilers. So obviously a lot of this game is about grief and processing things. And I don't know, it's interesting. I think that the way it's told the way the story is conveyed is kind of jumbled in a way that I think actually processing grief and processing memories often is, where it's not always super clear what's important or where some of these bad feelings are coming from. I don't know. How did you feel overall about like this unveiling story about the grandma and the mom and Alo's grief?
I think I was honestly confused for like the first half of the game as to like the approach they were taking, but like I do think that it is pretty reflective of how grief can feel, where it's like, you know, some days are good and some days are bad, and some days you remember this thing that happened and another day you remember this other thing that happened, and like also just through the process of stuff, right? And through the process of having like hands-on experience with your grandmother's stuff and like what kinds of specific memories that would bring up for you, I think is something that worked for me, because like I really love stories like that where it's like stuff is the story. So I like how that was kind of like revealed to us, but it did kind of make it a little bit confusing for me at times, I think. Like I was like, and then it was hard to remember exactly what happened, because even though it's a pretty linear story, the way that the memories are revealed, I think, can feel like they're not very linear. And then you're having dreams that are like nightmares, and then I'm like, when did that happen? When did this happen? And what is real? And they do say in the Steam description, which I think is really interesting, like they talk about it being a slow narrative. And I do think that it does feel really slow, but then they also talk about rediscovering memories and find your way into the present, where a slice of life meets surreal. And I actually think that Steam description is like a really great way to explain how the game feels, because it's like it does feel very surreal at times, and other times it feels very like, oh, this is like what I do, this is my routine every day. So I don't know, I think that the story bits, like overall, like I think I see what they were trying to do, and I think that it is reflective of how grief works and memories might work, but I think like maybe it didn't exactly land for me, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I think it's a very, very personal story, and I think there were moments that really resonated with me, and then moments that I think I saw what they were doing, but didn't have the emotional impact that maybe they would have for somebody else. I feel like the present day manifestation of Alo's grief is like her inability to write anymore.
Yeah.
Which started around when she went to college. And we'll go full spoilers. We'll just kind of like pull
grasp.
This. Yeah. We'll pull this all out and untangle it like piece by piece. It's full spoilers at this point. So we find out eventually that her inability to let herself write or be okay with what she's written started when her grandmother got diagnosed for the second time with cancer, which was also right before she went to college. So a really hard time. And she had grown up basically her whole life with her mom and her grandmother because her father had passed away. So it was like the three of them this whole time. And they ran her grandmother's tea shop. And so she has all these really sweet, happy memories of her childhood, but there's also like this darkness that's imbued in a lot of them too. So there's this like her inability to write, there's this really dark voice. There are kind of hints of some kind of conflict happening between her mother and grandmother, but then also a lot of really happy memories with them. And Alo has this really strong, positive, loving relationship with her grandmother. And so you're trying to pull all these different pieces apart, and it's very interesting. It's also like extremely different from my experience of grandparents and growing up. So it was also interesting to like see a completely different kind of perspective on like that side of childhood. But I don't know. Should I reveal eventually what because it winds up being kind of a mystery because of this aspect of Alo going back and re-experiencing these memories, but like she had them as a child, so she only knows what happened. She only could process as much as she could process as a kid about them. And so there's sort of this mystery around like, what was this conflict between her grandmother and her mother? And she winds up finding out that her mom used to be this amazing photojournalist who was doing investigative reporting and holding, I think, like corporations accountable for their impact on climate change and stuff. And her grandmother was really worried because she was occasionally getting threats because of her work, and some of her assignments were pretty dangerous. So her grandmother wanted her mom to stop doing this work, but it was like her passion. It was her dream. And they talk a lot about dreams. Like Alo's dream is to be a poet.
Yeah.
Her grandmother's dream was to have this tea shop, and her mom's dream was to be a photojournalist. But because of this conflict between her mom and her grandmother was very fearful of her work in photojournalism, and was not just for her safety, but for financial reasons too. Could they support themselves with this, through this career? So her mom kind of begrudgingly winds up giving up photojournalism and holds on to this sort of bitter resentment toward her mom for making her give this up. And then Alo winds up finding this letter where her grandmother's like, I really regret doing this, and I was too hard on her, and I got to live out my dream with the tea shop, but I never let her live out hers. And they wind up putting this whole thing together. And Alo feels a lot of guilt around leaving for college and leaving them alone while her grandmother was going through cancer treatments. So you wind up discovering there's all these bad feelings that haven't really been discussed ever between the three of them. Yeah. And it was very interesting. It was a very touching kind of conversation that she sort of has with her grandmother through this letter, and then she winds up having with her mom as a result of finding the letter. Yeah.
I think that's very real, and like, again, probably comes from some personal experience of like, yeah, some families or a lot of families just don't talk about the hard stuff. And like, it's just, I don't know. Yeah, it's very, it's just interesting. And like, they're all women, right? Like Alo and her grandmother and her mom. And so like, I don't know, I felt that. And when you get memories of Alo's childhood, like they all have their beds next to each other, and it's just, it seems like, and I do appreciate that the game conveyed this really well, was just that like Alo had a very special bond with her grandma. And it's like very clear, like there are just some people in our lives, like be them friends or family or whatever, that I think we just feel very connected to, almost like in a way that we can't explain, but like just like that's kind of like our person. And I think I've seen honestly like some people in my family go through something similar, like when someone passes on, of like that was my person, and they understood me so much, and I understood them, and we had a very special bond. Like I'm not saying it's like it is a unique experience, but it's also like a lot of people have those kinds of bonds with people in their families. But it just seemed that their bond was so strong and like special and could only be understood between the two of them, that it was that the passing of her grandma just like really, really impacted her in a way that was like very deep and personal at this time. So at the time that the game takes place. So I also I think it's cool that like her mom was gonna just like give the stuff away or put the stuff away, and then Ala was like, no, I want the stuff, like, even though, and then her mom's like, it's too soon for you to like look at all this stuff, but like they were so connected that Ala wanted to have that stuff. And then the game is kind of about her remembering things and learning new things about herself as she goes through this stuff. So like, I don't know, I think that all really works for me, just like as a high level concept. And then I think like the way that more was revealed to me over time about the story, I don't know, like I think I did get like a little bit lost in all of it, because I was just trying to like put all the pieces together. Like I was like, what am I missing? But I don't know if I was missing anything, Yeah,
I don't know. I agree. It was told in a very sort of like fractured way, which again I feel like is a good word. it feels true to how sometimes you do kind of piece apart memories or aspects of especially your childhood. I think there were times just where emotionally it didn't, I don't know, I expected to be more sad.
I was so sad playing the demo. I was like bawling. Yeah. And so like I think I was expecting a lot of that, but the game is so long, and it does do a good job at being like, this is like what you're living, like someone's life during the pandemic, so this is what it's going to feel like every day. And so I think I wasn't expecting that piece of it, you know?
Yeah. I don't know. I wish I knew why, I don't know. It's not that I didn't appreciate it. I appreciated the story a lot, and I thought that, like, I think that process of discovering that your direct ancestors, basically, like your parents, your grandparents, are real people and not these kind of godlike figures that they feel like they are when you're a kid.
Oh my God.
I think that's such a valuable and important part of growing up. And like, I kind of see this game as being a game about learning how to grow up. Like,
I love that.
Alo's learning how to take care of herself. She's learning that her kind of role models are humans too, and that they also made mistakes, and that's okay. You gotta, I love one of my favorite things in the game is what Alo, Zuari, and Kaya always say to each other when they're making promises to each other. They're always like, promise to try.
Yeah.
Promise to try.
Yes.
And I love that.
So
I think
real.
That's really beautiful. And so like that idea of like, you gotta just keep trying. You're not always gonna get things right. You're gonna make mistakes, but you just keep trying, and you keep getting better. So I really appreciated that. I think to be honest, I think I was a little jealous of Alo and her relationship to her grandparents, because not everybody has that positive relationship with their grandparents, you know, and especially the relationship between my mom's side. My grandmother on that side was frankly like a pretty toxic figure in my childhood. So it was interesting. I think a lot of looking at her memories, I'm like, wow, I wonder what that would have been like to have a grandmother or grandparent that I have that like incredibly strong positive association with. So.
Yeah, it is not something that everyone gets to have, and like it is really special. Like, I wouldn't say I had a relationship with my grandparents as close as Alo has with her grandma, but like my mom's mom and dad, like they lived 10 minutes away from me growing up, and they were always like there, you know, and I have very positive associations and memories with them, and so I feel really lucky to have that. And I think like I also think there is something like interesting here culturally too, because I think in like a lot of different cultures, the family structures look different. And I know like in my culture, like it's very common for families to be together and like live together in the same house until somebody gets married, and that's when they move out. And like that's what my mom did, you know,
or even after they get married.
Or
sometimes
well, now, I feel like now too, especially people live like with their families. I'm talking about America now, I guess.
Oh, sorry. Okay, yeah. I was thinking about globally.
Yeah, globally. But yeah, like you're right. Like even after marriage, you would still live in the same home as your parents. And so, I don't know. I think that was interesting for me to observe too, because it's like I can relate to that sort of like structure, I guess, a little bit more, where like grandparents are just a constant part of your life, and it's like you stay at their house a lot, or they're at your house a lot. And I know my mom didn't move out of my grandma's house until she got married to my dad. So I just think that like I like that they touch on that, and I don't know if that was specifically like if that is something that happens in that specific culture, but I don't know, like just observing the way that families can exist in different ways. I think I was paying attention to that a little bit while playing the game too.
I think there's a lot of really interesting themes going on. I think that Alo's journey is really interesting. So, yeah. It was a very interesting window. And like also going back to what we were talking about vis-a-vis the pandemic and like everybody's like Alo's experience not matching up to our experience. Everybody had a different experience of what that was like too. So it was interesting to get a different perspective on a lot of things, a lot of aspects of life.
I'm so curious, like, what kind of ending you got or, like, what choices you made at the end.
So neither of us realized, I think, going into it that there would be different endings. And the ending kind of revolves around what Alo decides to do for work. So I actually didn't realize until toward the end of the game that her job is sort of like a probation period of like a month. And if you do well, then you actually get to sign on to the company full time. So that is one of the outcomes you can get. I assume if you do really badly at the job minigame that you don't
get asked to stay.
Yeah, from the list of options that you get during this one phone call at the end of the game, I assume that one of the options was like doing an additional training or like proceeding with another probation period or something, some kind of like improvement plan basically, but you still work for Sitara. And then there was another option to go back home and help your mom with your grandmother's tea shop. There's an option to basically like just take some time off, which honestly, so valid, especially during the pandemic, so valid. And then there's the option to pursue your dream of being a poet. I think that I only was given the options to either keep going as a full-time employee, like sign on permanently, or be a poet.
Me too.
What were your options? Okay,
those are my options.
We played this game the exact same way. We just took really good care of Alo, and we did good at her job.
Yes, we're good.
Yeah. So what did you decide to pick in the end?
I picked to stay with the company. I almost picked poet. I was like, but you know what? This one time I'm going to be realistic and I'm going to choose to. But then it's cool because you can choose to stay with the company and then you get they like offer you to start a poetry thing like within the workplace, like over Zoom. And I just thought that was so cute. And they're like, here we like to support what you have going on outside of work or something like that. And I was like, that's cute because, like, let's be real, Alo could not write for most of this game, so I don't think she was ready to become a poet right away. I think that was going to take some time. I think I wanted her to, again, I had her best interest in mind. I knew that it wasn't the time for her to abandon everything to become a poet. So yeah, I like that you kind of get a little bit of both if you choose that ending.
Yeah, I love that. I picked the same thing. You know what? There are actually, even though there are some aspects of Alo's life that feel really different to mine, there were some that I related a ton to.
Yeah.
And her journey with like writing and poetry felt really relatable because that was what I wanted to do for most of my childhood and like adolescence was be a writer. And I would write every day for a long time. I had tons of journals that I still have that I would do a little bit of writing every day. And there was definitely a moment, I think sometime in high school, where I kind of came to the conclusion that like I wanted to deprioritize writing and prioritize just like life because I felt like I don't have a lot of stuff I can write about because I don't have a lot of life experience yet. And like, I think I need more life experience and then I will have things to write about.
That's so real. I love that you came to that conclusion. That's very cool.
So then like my highest goal became I want to just live as much as I can. I want as many experiences as I can possibly get. And that kind of, I think, led me to where I am now. I think I'm still on that goal. And I think that's why I felt good about sending Alo down this path of staying at this job was because like that goal can still live there. It can still live in you. And I don't know that I necessarily want to be a writer. I don't know if I necessarily want to write novels or anything, but like there's something about writing and storytelling, I guess, that I know is still there in the back of my mind. But I don't think I'm ready. I'm still on this path of like, let's just experience as many things as we can. And then maybe that'll come back around.
That's so beautiful. I love that. That makes perfect sense to me. It's like how all the best songwriters write songs about, like, you know, very intense relationships they've experienced. Like, you gotta have life. You gotta live some life to make some art, you know?
Yeah, yeah. And if you're kind of a quiet, bookish kid like Ala was and like I was, you gotta put yourself out there to get that life experience, you know?
So, love that.
Yeah. Anything else? Any random tidbits that we didn't touch on before?
I don't think so. I really like what you just said, and I would like for that to be like the final thing that people take away with them.
Oh, I love that. Cool. Well, let's get into ratings.
Oh my gosh, yeah. Do you want to tell the folks at home how we, or in the car, or wherever the fuck you're listening, how we rate things on this show?
I don't know why, or in the car surprised me for a second.
I listen to podcasts in the car.
I do too. No matter where you are, what you're doing right now, I'm going to tell you how we rate the game on No Small Games right now. So at No Small Games, on the show specifically, we just like to give a little nod to the fact that everybody's different. Everyone has a different set of expectations and desires and dreams and goals when it comes to the games they play. And so we're not trying to give some kind of definitive rating that we think is going to be universal to every single player when we rate the game. These are very kind of personal to us. But if over the course of listening to the show, you feel like you relate more to Kate or to me or to one of our guests when we have guests, in terms of like those things, what kinds of games you like to play, how you like to play games, then maybe our rating will kind of reflect how you'd feel about this game too. So that is how we do things, and we rate things on a scale of not percentage, not stars, not something universal like that. We rate them on a scale of ourselves. So I will give the game somewhere between 1 and 10 Emily's. Kate will give it somewhere between 1 and 10 Kate's.
Are you ready to rate the game, Emily?
I am ready. I'm ready.
Do it.
I think I am going to give... I think I'm going to give Fishbowl... I'm torn between two ratings. I think I'm going to give Fishbowl 7.5 Emily's.
That's what I was going to give it.
Out of 10. Hey! Matchy. I think that it's a really interesting story told in a really interesting way. I'm obsessed with the idea of having a pandemic story in a game like this. And I think... if anything, I wanted more of that, actually. I think that Alo's story about her grandmother and her own kind of growing up and grief process and everything is really beautifully told. But I wanted a little bit more of the pandemic side of things, because I think that's something that I personally really have a desire to go back and process, maybe similar to how Alo's processing all of this with her grandmother. I think I probably have some unresolved stuff to process about those early days of the pandemic. And I think I was just kind of hoping for more of that. So that's my take.
Totally fair. I think I agree with you overall. I mean, yeah, I was going to give it a 7.5 as well. Also, I'm just like shocked at how aligned we are on this game, like even down to the way that we played. I think usually we have a pretty different experience just in terms of like if choices matter in a game, you know?
Yeah.
Or if there are different endings. So I think this is really interesting to me. But yeah, 7.5 for me as well. I think like on its surface too, Fishbowl is such a Kate game, just in the mechanics and the style and like gameplay. And so I think like largely those are things that I really enjoyed about it, was just like all of that, like all of those mini games, the editing mini game, just like the moments of like sweetness and softness and like the more slice of life stuff, like looking at the comet through the telescope. Like these are moments in the game that meant the most to me, because like these are moments that I live in my own life in my own little apartment that like really, like I'll just look out the window sometimes and I'll see Garbanzo in the window and I'll have my coffee and I'll just be like, oh my God, like life is so beautiful. And I felt that playing Fishbowl too, so that means a lot to me. But yeah, I think that's what ended up working the most for me, and like I guess resonating the most with me was just like the slice of life stuff and finding the beauty in the everyday. So cheesy, but I'll own it. So yeah, I'm giving it a 7.5 as well.
Nice. I love it. I think you said something about it being a very gentle experience, and that's one of the things that I really loved about it too. It's very gentle, and I loved the process of taking care of Alo.
Yeah,
I think it's really beautiful.
It's so beautiful.
Yay.
Great. Well, we have our one small thing. It's time for one small thing, which is when we share something that we've been enjoying outside of a game for the podcast. Emily, do you have a one small thing to share?
I have a couple.
Ooh, a couple.
I can't. Well, I don't think I'll share both, but I can't decide which one I'm going to share. Do you have one? Do you want to go first?
Yeah, I could go first. I could think of something. Yeah, so something that I've been enjoying lately is I'm not ready. I'm sorry.
Okay, I'll go first. Oh gosh. Okay. I think I'm going to go. This is silly. This is a small thing. It's silly, but it has brought me a lot of joy in the last 24 hours. And that is in the wake of the recent elections in New York, where several Democratic Socialists were elected to the, chagrin of Republicans and a lot of kind of establishment Democrats. Republican House Speaker Mike Johnson took it upon himself. Mike Johnson.
Is that the guy from Utah?
I
think it is.
So, yeah. Fuck that guy. Anyway.
Fuck that guy, for real.
He took it upon himself to give a press conference where he decided to read aloud the agenda of the Democratic Socialists of America to show what radical, crazy people they are. And this is from their website. They have their their priorities, their agenda posted on their website. So he reads this out in this press conference, and it's the funniest thing because he's reading this list with just utter contempt and disgust, except that everything he says, everything on their list sounds fantastic. And not just fantastic if you are left leaning, but many people would find these objectively good.
Hit me with one of them.
The thing that makes me laugh every time is he reads out they want to establish a multi-party democracy.
Ew, horrible. Who would want that?
And ranked choice voting.
Who wants their vote to matter?
I know, and it's so the way the whole thing plays is it's like you've given an improv performer the cheesecake menu from Cheesecake Factory, but had them read all the flavors as if they are disgusting, just completely. And it's so funny.
I have to watch it. Oh my God.
I'll send you the video. It's very, very funny. And I feel like he's even struggling. He's such a clown. I feel like even he is struggling to make these things sound bad because
he hears them coming out of his mouth and he's like, actually,
ranked choice voting. Ugh.
He's like,
ugh, who wants that? Oh, gross.
Oh, that's so funny, dude. Also, I fucking hate that guy. He's such a clown. If it's the Mike Johnson from Utah, I think.
Let me confirm.
That's hilarious. Please send me the video. And this could not be more perfect because you reminded me. I would like to shout out a specific drag queen called Ophelia Johnson.
Hey, let's go.
No relation to Mike Johnson, but I did just come from a drag show where Ophelia.
Sorry.
Oh, go ahead.
Can I?
Yes,
please. I
please.
just want to confirm. This is Mike Johnson from Louisiana.
Okay.
I believe 4th District of Louisiana.
Not Utah.
Yes.
Okay. There's another Republican from Utah, and I think he might be a senator, and his name is Mike Johnson, or he could be Mike something. I don't know. Mike Johnson is one of the most basic names, so.
It really is.
But that's a great one small thing, and I can't wait to watch the video. So I'll just shout out Ophelia Johnson, no relation to Mike Johnson. This is a drag queen coming out of Portland, Maine. I honestly don't follow drag very much, But I went to a Pride event, and Ophelia was performing, and she had one of the best sets I've ever seen. She was so funny. She started out with like this medley of driving songs. And she like, she pulled a wheel out of her purse and was like moving it around, and like Shut Up and Drive is playing. And then this is the coolest part. She spilled her coffee on the stage, and then she like worked in her act to like go to the bar and get a towel, and she like started cleaning it up and like twerking to the music. Her comedic timing was incredible. She was working the room, but she also was like running outside and like working the crowd outside. She was back on the patio. She was just like, she was so funny. But not only was she funny, she was so inspiring, and I cried at the end of her set. And it was just like a great way to celebrate Pride, and I hadn't been to any Pride events yet. So everyone please follow Ophelia Johnson on Instagram.
I gotta do it. I was about to ask.
Yeah, username is Ophelia_drag. Literally,
is that Ophelia with a PH?
OPHELIA_drag. Literally the best drag performer I've ever seen. So shout the fuck out. Happy Pride. Check her out. If you ever have the chance to see her live, please do it. But yeah, shout out to the local artists, to the queer artists, and fuck Mike Johnson.
Hell yeah.
What else do we do here? Is there any? Oh, we gotta.
I think that's it. Oh, we gotta talk about what we're playing next time.
Yeah, we gotta talk about what we're playing next time, which is Relooted. Reclaim real African artifacts from Western museums in this African futurist heist game. Recruit crew members, plan escape routes, acquire the precious cargo, and bounce out of the joint as fast as you can. We cannot wait. Emily's already played a few hours of it. I'm about to boot it up tonight. Really excited for Relooted. So yeah. Let's go, babies.
Let's go, babies.
Let's go, babies. What? Help. It's time to go home. It's time to call it a night.
Oh, man. Okay. Well, let's go, babies. We'll see you next time.
Bye.